this video I want to cover how to go about drawing on hairlines if you're new to this or you just want to see what techniques I use. This is a practice head, but I added some fun little doodles to it to represent what most of your clients are going to look like. They'll have some side hair here. They'll have their temple hair kind of pushed back to this point sometimes because the temple hair starts to recede as well as the front and all the top. So I did that a little bit on the sides here to kind of make it more realistic, and also drew in some eyebrows here because that's part of the equation here actually. So yeah, go ahead and zoom in and get started. Start with just explaining what each of these points are. The two over here repeat on this side, so we'll just focus on this side for now. Where I always start is the center point, straight up from the nose. You figure out how low they want this front hairline. As far as if they have no idea, what you can suggest is they raise their eyebrows up. You'll see where the wrinkles stop is generally where their scalp starts. So maybe like a ½ inch up from where the last wrinkle is. But I'm gonna go ahead and draw like an average. What I would typically see on people is right about here. So it's anywhere in this range typically. And then when you get over to the side here, this is basically how far back do they want this arc to go. The arcs are on either side. And this can sometimes connect with the existing hair here. People like it when it does that, but sometimes the hair isn't there. So you have to kind of make up where it's going to connect. And this has a much wider range because someone can have it kind of almost flat across, or they can want it to be arced a lot more to, if they're not trying to look too young, they kind of want to look their age, they might back it up a little bit. So typical arc I see about right here, right in the middle there. And then the side here, you don't go here to here, you kind of start back down from here where the sideburns are, because this kind of should have a natural sort of arc to it, curve to it that follows in line with the eyebrow curve. So if you look at their eyebrow, you'll see that on someone with a full head of hair, it will arc along with it, almost anywhere from 2 inches to 1 inch from it. So if you're following that arc, let's say we're going back this far, this will connect all the way down to the sideburns, and then where this comes up, you can keep going to, I'm just going to illustrate a point that when you come down from this point, wherever this is, it can be anywhere in this range, but when you come down from here, you got to decide, okay, do I want to come down at an angle that brings it way out here, or do I want to come down at this angle or this angle? Either way, you're going to connect with this arcing point here. So take your point here and just choose kind of an average length down, so that's where you're going to connect for this guy's case. So his hairline is going to go around here, come to this point, and it might curve here, it might be a sharp point. In this case I would curve it, curve around, and we connect right there. We can have a sharp point here or curve here. I'm going to curve this as well. So you just repeat the same thing on the other side if he likes it. As time goes on, you'll get better at this and quicker. So if he says, oh, I don't want my temple forward that much, or he wants it more forward, you can just, rub a part out and, bring it in further, round it out. Now you have some, that was like kind of an average one. Some people want it further back, which is basically the same process, just everything's a little bit further back. And then, so I'm not going to go over that one because it's very similar to this, but then you have the more sharp edge ones. And for that, let's say we're going really aggressive, we're going pretty far down here. We'll mark it right there. And if they want the more youthful appearance, they may want it to stay completely flat all the way down, but you can't just go straight flat across the head. That looks really weird. So you still have to arc it, and because the head's round, it's always going to be arced to some degree. So if you're choosing a low point down here, let's say we're connecting right here, you just make the connecting points. It's kind of hard doing this backwards. Alright, so let's say we connect right there. Same principles apply down here though. You still have arcing here, you don't really ever have this being straight. So let's say they want this to be pretty aggressive, like forward, way over here. So you still have this arc, come up, hit a point right here. I mean, that's really close. But I'm just trying to show you an extreme example. If you wanted to get really aggressive with this, you could. And then that kind of makes it so if you were to come at an angle from here, going forward, you would connect right here, which would be very above his eye, which is too far forward. So your angle coming down from here, and you might actually even bring this over a little bit, connect like that. So this is like flat, sharp. This is like what the edge up would look like. I want to reiterate a few points while we're really up close, because that was a little bit further away. One, you choose how far down they want the hairline. That's the easiest thing for the client to decide, and you help them by, showing them where their scalp should start by raising their eyebrows. Two, how are you going to arc it up here? Which point are you going to arc it up to? You can go really low, really aggressive. You can choose to make it a sharp drop off from here. You can round it out. I'll show you a rounded example. Kind of come up a little bit here, round it, bring it back around. And then you have the really much higher example way up here, arc way out here. Once you do this for a long time, you don't really need to draw out these points individually, but I'll help you at first. You can just go along with it. You don't have to go, oh, here, then here, then here, and then draw it all together. You can just do it all in one shot. Then bring this around. Choose a point to round out the temple. You bring it into the sideburn. You always end up bringing it into the sideburn. It's very important. But you see here 3 different levels of how far down you can bring the hairline, and this being the most aggressive, and typically when it's that far down, they usually want it sharper. This is more average, rounded off, and then much higher, rounded. Also, another thing to note, well, first off, the practice heads don't come this way. I put these markings on here just to illustrate a point, especially over here where you have to follow the eyebrow. This curvature follows the eyebrow curve. It's very important, and will help you a lot. But the biggest thing that's going to help you get better at this and more comfortable with it is just looking at pictures online. As weird as that sounds, I mean, just looking up or looking at people's hair in general. It doesn't have to be bald people. You look at people that have full heads of hair and just look at how their hairline naturally curves up here. You'll see these 3 points being illustrated in everyone's head. So just looking at images, just Google images, celebrity hairstyles or something, or whatever's going to show you a lot of different pictures of people's heads, and or just in your everyday life, just look around and start noticing these things about people's hairlines, and it'll help you to draw them better, and how to choose what kind of hairline would fit a certain person, or give them the certain look that they want.